Good evening. John Quincy Adams is one of 4 New England characters portrayed by actor-historian Jim Cook. In A Spirit Unconquerable, we look at the last decade of this man's remarkable life. It was a life shaped by the demands of his father, John Adams, and his mother, the indomitable Abigail Adams. It provides a shining example of what a man can do as he nears the end of his life, if he is determined to do something.
Was I napping? I did not see you enter. Yes, I have sat too many daubers. I cannot believe more will follow him. Shades lately taken of me could serve to frighten the crows from my corn at Quincy. Is this the last time that a counterfeit presentment of me will be made in this world? Likenesses enough of my face and form will be left to survive me. I have sat to 16 portrait painters, 5 sculptors, and 1 medalist. Several have painted me twice. There are engraved copies and copies of the engravings. My face was copied in my 16th year and in my 70th. They show what I am and what I was.
Henry Wadsworth Longfellow lived in a defining age of American history. Born when the country was only 31 years old, he went on to write poems which have become cultural icons in the United States and beyond. In the 1830s, he moved to Cambridge, Massachusetts, and taught languages at Harvard College. Although he was a good professor, his ambitions were more literary, and he eventually left his job to focus solely on his poetry. Today, he's considered the first professional poet in American history. His writings were immensely popular and profitable, and generations that followed have memorized his poetry. Words like the Songs of Hiawatha, the Children's Hour, Paul Revere's Ride, and Evangeline. Beloved by young and old, his grandfatherly image with his long white beard has become just as iconic as his writing. But did you know that he did not grow his beard until he was an older man? Literary historian Rob Velella portrays Longfellow in his younger years as a struggling professor with poetic aspirations.
Although I suffered many hardships in my life, both personal and professional, I always tried to view the world with a sunny disposition, you might say. It is difficult to maintain such optimism amid the cares of life when there is no sunshine in the soul. Equally problematic is when there is no sunshine in the sky. We have each seen a dismal, rainy day. Sorrow seeks out such days as this. Perhaps I can offer an alternative perspective in the form of a poem I wrote called The Rainy Day. The day is cold and dark and dreary. It rains and the wind is never weary. The vine still clings to the moldering wall, but at every gust the dead leaves fall, and the day is dark and dreary. My life is cold and dark and dreary. It rains and the wind is never weary. My hopes still cling to the moldering past, but the hopes of youth fall thick in the blast, and the day is dark and dreary. Be still, sad heart, and cease repining. Behind the clouds is the sun still shining. Thy fate is the common fate of all. Into each life some rain must fall. Some days must be dark and dreary.
Stephen Collins grew up in Cambridge and received a BA in literature from UMass Boston. After a 20-plus year career in sales, he is back doing what he truly loves, performing and teaching. Recently, he has been teaching seminars on Whitman, Hardy, Shakespeare, Frost, and contemporary poetry at various locations throughout the country. The newest addition to his repertoire, one-man show, Shakescene, has been met to rave reviews. He also works as a professional licensed tour guide, doing narrated historical tours of Boston. His Whitman performances have taken him all over the country. He now has 6 one-man shows and teaches 5 courses, where his style has been described as a hybrid between lecture and performance.
If you cannot understand my argument and declare it's Greek to me, you are quoting Shakespeare. If you claim to be more sinned against than sinning, you are quoting Shakespeare. If you recall your salad days, you are quoting Shakespeare. If you act more in sorrow than in anger, if your wish is father to the thought, if your lost property has vanished into thin air, you are quoting Shakespeare. If you have ever refused to budge an inch or suffered from green-eyed jealousy, if you have played fast and loose, if you've been tongue-tied, a tower of strength, hoodwinked, or in a pickle, if you have ever knitted your brows, made a virtue of necessity, insisted on fair play, slept not one wink, stood on ceremony, danced attendance on your lord and master, had short shrift, cold comfort, or too much of a good thing, if you've seen better days or lived in a fool's paradise, why then, be that as it may, the more fool you, for it is a foregone conclusion that you are, as good luck would have it, quoting Shakespeare. If you think it is early days and clear out bag and baggage, if you think it is high time and that is the long and short of it, if you think the game is up and the truth will out, even if it involves your own flesh and blood, if you lie low to the crack of doom because you suspect foul play, if you have your teeth set on edge at one fell swoop without rhyme or reason, well then, to give the devil his due, if the truth were known, for surely you have a tongue in your head, you are quoting Shakespeare.
Despite his formidable contributions to the shaping of the American Republic and his prescient vision of the United States as a global world power, Alexander Hamilton never captured the hearts of Americans in the way that Thomas Jefferson and Abraham Lincoln were able to do so. Yet Hamilton was a founding father, soldier, economist, political philosopher, one of America's first constitutional lawyers, and the first United States Secretary of the Treasury. And as Secretary of the Treasury, Hamilton was the primary author of the economic policies of the George Washington administration, the funding of state debts by the federal government, the establishment of a national bank, a system of tariffs, friendly trade relations with Great Britain. John Horrigan is an accomplished stage actor, historical lecturer, professional sports announcer, and the host of a cable television program, The Folklorist. In addition, he is a member of the Lincoln Minutemen and belongs to a group of historical reenactors known as Solo Together. This is John's debut portrayal of an historical character. Join us as he attempts to bring Alexander Hamilton to life on the eve of his death. It is July the 4th, 1804.
I am reflecting back upon my life. Tomorrow, at dawn, is a very important occasion for me, but more on that in a moment. When they tell you that I was born in the year 1755 on the island of Nevis in the West Indies, let them know that I am 2 years younger in the heart. My father, James, was the son of a Scottish lord, and he abandoned my mother, Rachel, my brother James, and I, after my mother's first husband, a spiteful man named Johann Levine, filed for divorce under such lecherous circumstances as bigamy, abandonment, and adultery. My mother had to work very hard selling her wares in a store in Christenstead. In February of 1768, she died of the fever and a broken heart, leaving my brother James and I orphaned. Mr. Levine came and seized my mother's assets. He took everything, her silver, even my prized library of 34 books, including Roman and Greek classics. Had not a friend intervened and purchased the books back for me. I love those books. I love to read. The art of reading is to skip judiciously.